everybody. Some of you already know me. For those that do not know me, my name is Yakira Miller. I am a therapist intern and I am currently working with Fortified Counseling. Shout out to Fortified Counseling. Shout out to Parker Forte, my supervisor and mentor in this therapy business, in this mental health world. I appreciate all that she has done for me. She has definitely given me the opportunity to glean off of her and what it's like to operate her own practice, and being Black as well as being a female, having your own practice and learning how to navigate and just be able to build something that's yours, your own business. So shout out to her. Thank you, Parker, if you are watching, for everything that you have done and everything that you are going to do for me.
So I think that that is super dope. First of all, congratulations for stepping into therapy. Why? Why becoming a therapist? What made you want to become a therapist? Because it's not easy, okay, to take on that responsibility.
Honestly, I do not. I'm not going to say I don't know. At first, I just wanted to be a teacher. But as time went on, I realized like relationships with friends, I was always the person that people would come and talk to. Like, oh girl, let me call Kira. What do you think about this? Like I was the go-to person for advice. So at some point I was like, okay, let me try therapy or be a therapist. And just having a close relationship with God and learning, what my purpose is, what my calling is. I feel like that this is something that I'm called to do, is to be a therapist, to help people improve self-esteem, anxiety, depression. Those are some things that I've experienced in my personal life. So, what better way to help others than by stepping into something that I believe is my calling and purpose as a therapist, and to help them grow and elevate themselves?
Okay, so with that being said, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you do look pretty young. So to be out here as a representation of a therapist, like, hey, you're going through life, you can talk to me, come to me. What do you get being the simple fact is that you do look young? Like, do you get that she don't really know what she's talking about? Or has the support level been different for you?
So for me, I am actually a therapist intern. So I'm in the process of like getting my clinical hours, going to school so that I can graduate and get my license. And any therapist that knows, they've been through this stage of having to have hands-on training and things like that. So one challenge for me was, number one, I'm young. I'm 26 years old. And then the second challenge for me is that I'm an intern. So I'm not fully licensed yet. And when I first started, promoting and trying to gain clientele, the one thing that kind of scared me was like, okay, I feel like people are not going to go to me because they see therapist intern. They don't see like therapist, LPC, all of those different letters that come behind the therapist name. As of right now, I'm just a therapist intern. So I felt like for me, that would turn a lot of people off because they felt like they might feel like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what she's doing. And then on top of that, she's young. Like, there are some older people that seek therapy, in their 30s and everything like that. And so those were two challenges that I faced. But once I broke the barrier and got my first client, I began to be more confident in what I was doing and my ability to be a therapist. It's kind of like when you first try something, you're scared, you're nervous, but then once you do it, you get the hang of it, and then it just grows on you. So after that first client, it just became so natural to me. So then when people did start coming, it was like, okay, like I listened to them, have conversation, and they're like, okay, yes, I want to go with you. Yes, I want you. Like I had a young lady recently, I was talking to her, and I was basically telling her like, oh, well, I don't really do insurance right now, it's self-pay. And she's like, I was like, I can have you see another therapist that's in the practice if you want them to accept your insurance. And she said, no, I want to do you because I chose you for a reason. So for me, that lets me know that just because I'm not all the way there yet, I'm in the process of being there, or on my way on the path. That doesn't disqualify me from being able to give sound advice or being able to assist people with what they are looking for in a therapist.
Yeah, but and I think that it's good that you do have that mentality because when you step out here in the business world, a lot of things will scare you, whether it's age, whether it's the target market, whether it's where you located. But for you, how is business going though? I mean, you are in a new city, you have, some challenges that you were facing, but how is business? How is Fortified? I'm sorry, wait, what is the name of your particular business?
So I'm under Fortified Counseling. So that's how I see and speak to all of my patients. That's where I make clients. But I have an Instagram page. My Instagram page is talks.that.heal. So for me, that I know I had to get it right because I'm like, wait, what is it? But you gotta add the dot in there. So for me, I feel like that's my own personal brand. That's how people can find me. And eventually when I branch out on my own, once I get licensed and I do want to have my own practice, that's what I'm going to name my practice, Talks That Heal. So for me, that's kind of my brand and what I wanted to brand myself as a therapist and, just being able to see people. But it is under Fortified Counseling.
So being that you have that and you are doing that as kind of, I want to say like an outreach until you get to where you go, how do you feel like what's your best building tool? Like, are you somebody that is very on top of things? Like, are you a writer? Are you a planner? Do you strategic? Like, what would you say the best thing to kind of, keep you together is that you're doing right now?
The biggest thing for me, are you asking in regards to marketing or are you asking like in regards to just me personally?
Just you personally as being a business owner now with taking on this, like with taking on this milestone in your life right now, what do you utilize like to just keep you at an angle where you just don't get overwhelmed?
So for me, I'm a journal person. I like to journal. I like to write. So that definitely helps me, jot down my thoughts. I have a journal for my personal thoughts, and then I also have a journal for my prayers. Sometimes I feel compelled to just write it instead of speaking it. So it's still, in a sense, it's kind of the same, but just writing it out for me, I feel like I get more out. So for me, it's just staying grounded, like definitely prayer, definitely staying on top of what I want to do. So as far as like the therapy side, I go and I research certain things when it comes to like practices, like different methods. It's kind of almost like you never stop learning. There's things that are always changing, always improving, always growing. So I try to keep myself up to date with like a lot of the new techniques that are going on as well as the old ones. And then just overall making sure I just keep myself, chill, calm. Like I've been through, God, a lot.
Yeah.
But
don't you talk.
Listen, but by the grace of God, I have managed to stay sane. And it has been because of the writing, the praying, just other tools that I utilize for myself, that my therapist has suggested for me. Because even though I'm a therapist and I help other people, I also have a therapist for myself that I can go and talk to. And that also helps as well because she understands being a therapist herself. And so that has helped me along the way as well.
Well, good. And hey, listen, I'm super excited for you. And it seems like that you have like what it takes to be, the next Black young therapist out there. I don't know how many locations, but I'm just speaking it into existence. But before we go, really quick, I wanted to do something because, again, like I said, mental health is super important. What I want to do is I want to give you just 5 quick questions. And because you are a therapist, if I gotta pay you after I ask you these questions, let me know. Or not. But I just want to see what would be your thoughts on it. Very brief, just so maybe somebody can take the opportunity to, want to book a consult when they do hear you respond. Okay. So a person that is fighting depression, what would be the one thing that you would say to them that will kind of get them to the next level?
So for me, that's first of all, that's a very personal question because that is something that I face myself and that I got delivered from. So for me, anytime that I have a client that comes and they're saying, I'm just depressed, I like to get down to the root of it. Like what happened before this? What's going on? Like what led up to this? So I kind of like to start from the beginning and then we progress from there. But one thing that I can say about depression is if you sit in it for too long, it will overtake you. You have to get up. You cannot stay in that place. You cannot allow your thoughts or your feelings to take you to that place. So you have to be stronger than what you're feeling. And that comes in with having techniques, coping mechanisms that when you find yourself in these positions, okay, let me do this. Let me get up and go for a walk, or let me write down things that I'm grateful for. Do a gratitude challenge. Let me go and call someone, that can help me through this. but don't try to do it alone, because from personal experience, trying to do it yourself, it doesn't work. But you have to be willing to combat those things. But if you're just going to sit there and allow it to dwell, then of course you're gonna be depressed for days and days at a time. But you have to make that choice to get up, to change your mindset, and to make better decisions about how you want to move forward.
Okay. And lastly, what are some things that you would tell someone that is struggling with just taking an opportunity to just sit down, take a self-care day? What are some important things about self-care?
To me, self-care is rejuvenation. Like you're pouring back into yourself what you poured out to so many people, whether it's your job, your wife, your husband, your kids. Everybody needs an opportunity to recover from that. So it's important, whether it can be something small, going shopping, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, taking a walk, anything, getting a massage, whatever it is that you feel like is necessary. But self-care is really important, because if you don't, you continue to pour out. And how are you recovering from that? So I would say for self-care, look at it as an opportunity to recover. Look at it as an opportunity to take time to just build yourself up and to pour into yourself so that you can continue to pour into others.
Okay, so my thing is, I just feel like at this point, somebody should book you right now. I don't know, but it's really giving me the vibes that you're on your way. Lastly, before we go, but thank you for that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are clicking on this video, make sure you like, share, you comment. You go follow Talks Heals on Instagram to not miss your daily motivational quotes. But before we go, give us something that we may look forward to in the rest of the year and seeing you in the rest of the year.
So one thing that I can say, working with Parker has been amazing. She has definitely given me great opportunity to branch out and kind of do things, being independent in her practice. So one thing that you all can look forward to is we are starting a girls group. It's going to be starting in July. It's for teens. I believe the age is from 13 to 18. It's for teenage girls. I think it will be both virtual and in person. I will have to double check, but we're gathering all the information now to build, the curriculum, and to move forward with it. I believe it's an 8-week course. Don't quote me on that. I think it's an 8-week course, but it's basically to empower, and to encourage and to build up these young women. It's going to be Christian based. So they're going to be learning principles that they can use in their everyday lives, and just how to conduct themselves, how to handle themselves in situations, and to also have skills that they can use in moments, that they may be going through anxiety, or they may be having, low self-esteem. We will equip them with tools that will help them to get past that and to grow from that.
That sounds like an amazing idea. Make sure you give me all the information that needs to be, so we definitely can promote that. But I seriously want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me and to chat with me. Those who are watching, make sure you go and follow. This stuff is important. It's important for you to seek an opportunity to see a therapist. Before we go, can you just elaborate on that? Is it time for more people to actually start seeing therapists, or what?
I do believe it's a pivotal time for people to start seeking therapy. Coming out of COVID, it has impacted so many people in so many different ways. And a lot of people, they haven't known how to deal with that. And they may not know how to proceed going forward. A lot of things have changed. Some people have gone into depression, being isolated. Some people have gotten a little bit anxious because they can't go out or do the things that they used to do. Fear has overtaken because they're afraid. So I think it's a pivotal time, not only just for COVID, but just to break generational curses. A lot of times we deal with stuff in ourselves, and sometimes that's passed down from our family. And a lot of times, I know in the Black community, it's what goes on in this house, stay in this house. Don't tell my business. So it's I wouldn't say going and telling your business, but it's you need these moments to break those chains, to break addiction, to break alcoholism. That's what it's there for. And what better way to do that than to sit down with someone who is not biased who can take, a look into your life and tell you, okay, this is what's going on and this is what you need to change. This is what needs to be adjusted in order for you to have, make better choices or to have a better life that you see. So I think it's very important. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing. I have clients I see monthly. I have clients I see weekly. And then I have clients I see bi-weekly. So it's really up to you. But I think at some point you just need to speak to someone and kind of, just a mental maintenance, to kind of check and see where you are. And, if you want to grow, that's the perfect way to start. Talk to a therapist. They can give you tools that can equip you with that.
All right, guys. So you heard it yourself from Miss Miller herself. It's time to do a mental maintenance. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning back into One Black Shop Radio. Thank you so much for Miss Miller for joining us here today. Make sure you like, share, and comment. Follow me on Instagram at LeeTalk_. And we are out until next time.